Hey guys, it's Mark from Hallmark Pool Supplies. I've made this video as a continuation from the first video that I made, Finding Leaks in Your Pool, which is part 1. If you guys have not watched that, you may want to check that out. I will post a link down below so that you guys can check that out for those of you that want to watch it. And in the first video, we talk about the 3 different types of leaks that you can have in a swimming pool. First of all, we have structural leaks, we have suction leaks, and we also have pressure leaks. In this video, we're going to be talking primarily about structural leaks only. Although there's different structural leaks, for the most part, structural leaks will leak the same amount of water if the filter system is running or if the filter system's off. So in this video, I'm going to show you how we can find and how we can fix or repair these structural leaks. There are 3 different types of pools. There's concrete pools, there's vinyl pools, and there's fiberglass pools. So let's say you get a hole, a crack, or a tear in any of the surfaces of these pools, that would be considered a structural leak because the water's going to leak the same regardless if the system is on or if the system is off. For an example, if you guys have a vinyl pool and you get a hole, you can patch it. And I did make a video, I'll post the link down below, that'll help you guys if you want to check it out. Shows you how to patch a vinyl liner pool right underwater. Okay, for those of you that have a concrete pool and you have cracks in the bottom of the pool, doesn't necessarily mean they're all leaks, but if you have a bad crack and you know it's a leak, they do make 2-part epoxy putty that you cut in equal parts and you mix it and you put it in, and it does work and it works underwater. However, this is more of a Band-Aid. It's not a permanent fix. It could last for a year, it could last for several years. If you really want to have a bad crack fixed, if it is a leak, then you want to saw that crack out and you want to use Permaseal or other like materials that you can put in the crack, and then depending on if it's a concrete pool that's painted, if it's a gunite pool, a plastered pool, you can patch over if you're using grout or hydraulic cement. Those type cracks are probably best to be left to the pool professional because they do get a little bit more involved in regards to fixing those type repairs. And for those of you that have fiberglass, if you have cracks in your fiberglass pool, that can also be repaired. But once again, you'd probably want to call your pool professional, the builders that do the fiberglass pools, because they do make kits to repair those type pools. But that's probably something you want to leave to the professionals because that is another repair that is also a little bit more involved. If you guys have a crack in your skimmer, doesn't matter what pool you have, if it's concrete, vinyl, or fiberglass. That is still considered a structural leak, and that crack in the skimmer can be repaired. I did make a video on crack repair. It's pretty simple using a product called Skimmer. I did post a link down below so you guys can check that out. So let's talk about lights. Lights can be structural leaks because there's no suction or pressure, and it doesn't matter if you have a concrete pool, a vinyl pool, or a fiberglass pool. Light lines can leak. And something that a lot of people misunderstand is when water leaks in a pool, and let's say it leaks down and stops right here, people would assume that the light is good because it's still underwater, but that might not necessarily be the case. And I want to take you behind this display and show you why water levels can change, but yet it could still be the light. Now we're at the back of the wall, and we have a niche, and the niche is where the light goes in, and the niche has got water in it, and there's also water in the light line here, and the light line comes up and you can see the cord coming out. And by code, you guys will have a junction box up here, and it's typically set about 8 inches higher than the pool. So this way, if the pool overfills, the water can never get up to the light box where the electric is hooked up. So under a normal situation and you have the water down here, the water would be here and it would not go any higher. If there's a break in the light line, then the water would leak to here. If there's a break here, then the water would leak to here. Here again, I'm still above the light. If the light line is broke here, then the water is going to leak down to the top of the light because this particular niche, the light line comes in at the top of the light. Some light lines come in at the middle, some come in at the bottom. But regardless, if we have a break in this line, water will level. And this is why water will only go to a certain point. So it doesn't necessarily mean that just because the water is over the light, that the light's not leaking. So if we've determined that there is a leak in the light line, then what we can do is we can actually come over here, and keep in mind most of the time the pool is full, so this is going to be underwater. We just go under, and most lights will have a screw set at 12 o'clock. We're going to unscrew, and once we remove it, we can then pull the light out, and we are able now to set it up on top of the deck. so that we can come down here and look at what we have. And you can see that the cord is going through the light line like I showed you, and all of this is underwater. So how do we make this repair? Well, first of all, there is the 2-part epoxy putty that can be made, and this works underwater, and we can pack that light in. However, this is a Band-Aid. This is not that good of a repair. It's definitely not permanent, but it will get you by if you guys decide to do that. But it does work underwater, so we don't have to drain the pool down. Number 2, we have what's called a cord stopper, and that's what this is. And this works very well. It actually looks like a plug that's slit. It is open, so we can actually put the plug around the cord. And once we've done so, we're going to slide it and we're going to push it in. And as you can note, I'm going to just push that in really good and tight. And if you look, you can see that the cord is going through, and that is completely plugged and sealed now. And that will work, and that will seal it. And we can do this underwater. It does not have to be dry. And this works very well and will last for years. However, because it is rubber, in time, with chemicals and being underwater, rubber will disintegrate, kind of like ladder bumpers on a ladder, and you will have to change it so many years down the road. Because if it does deteriorate, it could start leaking again, but the rubber plug is a good fix. It does last for a long time, and it's definitely much better than using the 2-part epoxy. So another way we can seal the light, which is actually the best way, would be to lower the water level below the light, because this type of seal needs to be dry. And this is what we do on new construction. We seal all lights, even if they're brand new, so that in the event if it does break, we can rule that out as being a leak. Doesn't hurt anything, and we just do that on a lot of pool construction that we do today. But what you want to do is get a product called Permaseal, and you can actually take a rag and get yourself a rod or a stick or something like this. And what we want to do once the water gets down below the light is we want to come in here where the cord is, and we want to push this in and ram it all the way around and get it around like this. And what we're doing is we're pushing this in really deep. And if you see how I gauge this, I'm going in pretty deep. I want to make sure that this is clean, that it's nice and dry, because it needs to be that way when we seal it with Permaseal. And so then what I like to do is I like to get maybe some newspaper, it could be a rag, it could be whatever, and we're going to take our little rod here, and we're going to take this and we're going to put this in just like this. And what we're going to do is now we can push this in here, and we can put our hand here and we can see how deep that is. And basically all we're trying to do is go in about 1.5 inches. It doesn't matter if you go in 2 inches. We want to make sure that we get enough Permaseal in there, but that's all we need to seal this. We do not want to empty the whole tube in there, because if you ever have to change the light, and I'm not talking about the light bulb itself, I'm talking about the whole entire light cord and all. If we do this, we can still pull on this and get that light out. If you put the whole tube of this in there, you've definitely sealed it, but it will play hell trying to get it out. Just go in here, you can gauge that. You want to go in about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches, and then you can fill that, and you want to make sure that you got the Permaseal put all around the cord. And then what we want to do is we want to let this sit, and you need to let it sit for at least 24 hours. We don't want to put the sealant in here and then start putting the light back in, because this is going to move back and forth, and with this moving back and forth, that can disturb where you've plugged it. So we want to make sure that it sits, it gets nice and hard. You can come back 24 hours later, then that's not going to move, it's sealed. Then you can go ahead and roll your cord up around the light, reset your light, put your screw back in. And what I like to do is I like to make sure that what we fixed is good. And I would recommend, in this case, since the light is at the top, we can fill the pool up a few inches above what we just fixed. And then this way, if it holds, then we know we're good. We can fill the pool up. You don't want to jump the gun and fill the pool all the way up and find out that the pool's still leaking because maybe you didn't seal it good enough. It's very important to do so. And once that's in, it is permanent. We can pull this out if we need to get it out, but just remember, we only need to go in about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. Okay, another structural leak can be in a hydrostatic valve. and that's what this is. Hydrostatic valves are typically found in concrete or fiberglass pools, not vinyl. Reason being, concrete or fiberglass is solid, and the idea behind a hydrostatic valve is when the pool is full, this is down. But if we empty the pool, and let's say you have a high water table, if you have a high water table and water's underneath the pool, this will pop up, allowing the water, the groundwater under the pool, to come into the pool, and it fills the pool. If you did not have this and you get enough groundwater under a pool, it can literally raise and float just like a boat. So by having a hydrostatic valve, it pushes up, allows the water to come in. If this happens and happens to close, or if you go down there and you're cleaning the pool and this is up, but then it goes down, if any trash gets in here and this closes, it doesn't seal properly, you can have a leak. Furthermore, this is spring loaded. Sometimes the springs, they can rust or give out, or as you can see here, there's an O-ring that goes around, and if that O-ring gets deteriorated or wore, then that can also cause a leak in the future. So if we have a problem in the hydrostatic, they're easily removed because they're typically in the bottom of a drain, and that's what they look like. And this will pop open, letting water in. When the pool is full of water, this stays closed because the water pressure will be much greater than the water pressure under the pool. So if we need to replace that, it does unscrew. This is a universal fitting because it is made 2-inch as well as 1.5 inches. And when putting this in, we want to make sure we Teflon tape this really well. Either one, depending on what size you're using. We put it in, screw it down, and then you've got a hydrostatic valve that is good and working. Because like I said, if this spring is stripped or the O-ring is bad or trash gets in there and it closes and it's not sealed properly, it will be a leak when the pool is full of water. Another structural leak could be around skimmer gaskets, it could be drain gaskets, it could be the light gasket. If you have a vinyl pool, it could be the seal or the gasket around the steps. However, those type leaks are very rare because most people don't play around with skimmer gaskets and they don't loosen and tighten the screws on a light or a drain, but those would be considered structural leaks. But like I said, that is extremely rare. So I hope this video was helpful. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment or contact me. I'll be glad to help. I will be posting links of the products that we've talked about in this video, as well as some of the other videos that I've put links to, so you guys can check that out if you need to. I want to thank all my subscribers for watching. If you haven't subscribed, do so for future content. Definitely remember us at Hallmark Pool Supplies for all your pool needs. I really appreciate you guys watching. My name is Mark, and I'll see you guys on the next video.